Hello, everybody, and welcome to a long-awaited return of the Sunday Bunch is back. Woohoo! Of course, because of the coronavirus and the lockdown restrictions and what have you, we can't do it from our regular home Things Hill Zoom, but we are back on a Sunday, and the team are back together, all of us together. We've got Dino, we've got myself, Philly, we've got the Mad Mistake, Michael Bowers, Jacob Kirkbride, and Sean Middleton. We're all here for you tonight to discuss all things Sunderland, and more so, we actually got a win yesterday. First win of the season against Oxford United 0, Sunderland 2. So we are going to discuss that as well. And if you would like to join in, we've got the live chat open. So please get yourself on there, ask us any questions you like, and we'll try our best to answer those. And before we start, just a quick one. Our aim is to try and get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you haven't actually subscribed yet and you're watching, just hit the subscribe button. That would be much appreciated. It's absolutely free to do so. So, Oxford 0, Sunderland 2. Dino, what did you think?
Hey, well, it was a game of two halves, wasn't it, really?
Oh, don't tell us you're going to be doom and gloom.
This negativity again.
Oh.
Well, let's be fair. Everyone who watched the first half would look at us and go, "We weren't a good team. We were awful." Apart from hitting the bar, I think it was from a corner. I don't think we've done much. Our passing was very sloppy in the first half, and don't forget, them had their chances where he nearly lobbed Lee Burge. It just went past the post, and then they had another one where it was nice linking up play. They got into about the penalty spot. He struck it really, really hard, and Lee Burge actually kept a hold of it. It was a good save by Lee Burge, to be honest. Then obviously second half, Rockets must have been up their arses because we came out a totally different team. I mean, we scored within the first 5 minutes, but it was a typical kind of Sunderland goal, wasn't it? Where it bounces off Maguire's knee and falls straight to Luke O'Nien, who had a fantastic game. Lovely finish by him. And then it was more of the same. Oxford didn't really threaten second half. I thought we controlled the game very well in the second half. Then Gooch comes on and then takes on 3-4 players. Thought he's going to hold on the ball too long, and he actually placed it in the bottom corner. It was beautiful. But to be honest, first half I looked at us and thought we're terrible, but second half was an improvement, but there's still loads of improvement to do if we want to be up there.
Well, to be honest, I mean, I see the positive in everything, but I thought the first half was all right.
Myself. Yeah,
oh no, honestly, it wasn't as bad as you're saying, honestly. Right, before we move on quickly with the chat, we've got to say hi to David Walker, our friend of the show, Acacia Cameron Jude says hello, lads, so hello to her. Big Bull says evening, and David Hanby up by Easter. It's got to be. Last week was just all doom and gloom, and everybody was fed up, and let's sack a lot of them and all that. Everybody has got to be happy today, including you, Dino. You have to be. Michael, your view on the game?
I'm actually going to be looking at more along Phil's line of thinking for the first half. I actually don't think it was as bad as people said we were. Do I think it was good? No. I think that I think our effort and endeavour, I think we were doing all right up until we got to the final third, where the quality was pretty poor. Hume was putting crosses in left, right and centre that were in no man's land and reaching nobody in particular. But you look at that, I mean, the chances Oxford had, the only real one they had was the one where the header looped over Lee Burge and just went wide. The other ones were basically like shot straight at him, which was pretty comfortable. Sunderland got down the byline quite a few times in the first half, and if it were for better quality in the final third, we would have probably gone in front there. I don't think there was much separating the two teams in the first half, but I do think Sunderland did shade it. Second half, completely different side, and I think getting the first goal, really settled the players down. I think there was a bit of apprehension, a bit of nerves to some extent within the game, and Sunderland getting that first goal. You know, I mean, I know Dino said that that's the typical Sunderland goal. I suppose that's one way you're going to get a goal, but we usually never get that lucky. So, that's a good thing at least. But yeah, second half, different side completely, dictated the game. Oxford, apart from one good chance where it was on the right-hand side of our 6-yard box, and they flashed the shot across goal at 1-0. They didn't threaten whatsoever in the second half, from what I can remember. Anyone feel free to tell me I'm wrong there, but I was quite surprised how poor Oxford were, but you can only beat what's put in front of you at the end of the day. So, yeah, good result, but we need to kick it on. These next 2 games are going to be pretty massive. Peterborough, I mean, every game's going to be massive, but Peterborough and Charlton in particular, 2 huge games, and I think I'll personally assess our start after those 2 games.
Well, I have to say, Michael Bowers, I love you. Agreeing with me about the first half. From what I saw the first half, I didn't really think it was that bad, honestly. I didn't. Anyway, Nigel Dunn.
I'm waiting for Dino to cover the talk there.
No.
Nigel Dunn, normality returns well-ish, yes.
Well, hopefully.
Umar McMFC, who was saying we would lose, not me, so I assume he predicted a loss. And SPJ on the chat says, give it up for the Transit lads yesterday. Round of applause to them, lads.
Dedication.
Brilliant. That's what you need. That's what Roy Castle said, if you're old enough to remember. Just probably me and Terry. Right then, so the mad mistake. What do you reckon?
I said before yesterday's match when I saw the team line up, it's either going to be a master stroke from Phil Parkinson or it's going to be absolute disaster and people are going to be calling for his heads at the end of the game. The first 10 minutes, we played quite well. We did start. Bird started very shaky early on, but as soon as he can figure out to commit to something, if he commits to something and believes in himself, he'll become a good keeper. Because sometimes he's indecisive, he's in between whether to come forward or go backwards. But after that first sort of error he made, after that, he never put a foot wrong. He claims every single cross, which is a positive. He can catch the ball. Even when he's knocked over, he keeps hold of the ball. So that was good positive from Bird yesterday. But after the first 10 minutes, Oxford, I thought, were the better side just in the first half. I thought Oxford did have, apart from the header from Bailey Wright that hit the crossbar, the better chances. And if they actually put the chances away, there could have been 1 or 2 after the first half. But we actually came out second half and we played the ball on the ground. It's amazing what it can do if you don't hoof the ball out of play every single time you get the ball. Absolutely fantastic from Phil Parkinson. Listening to me, keep the ball on the ground all of the time. It's beautiful football. You will keep possession and you will score more goals. Luke O'Nine's finish was fantastic. There was loads of luck in the build-up, but no luck from Hume. Hume ran down the left-hand side, great ball in the box, but Luke O'Nine, fantastic, sublime finish. And then when you got someone like Gooch coming on against tired players hate it when somebody runs at you with the ball with pace. Absolutely frightened the life out of them. Gooch yesterday, they all backed off. It opened like the Red Sea, and he sweetly just ushered the ball in the right-hand side bottom corner. Brilliant finish from Gooch. Like I said yesterday, beautiful football from Gucci.
Well, I've got to say, from what I saw the first half, I'm not sure I agree with you that Oxford had the better player, but it's all about opinions, isn't it? Before we move on, David Walker says first half was poor on the chat. Bradley Stanlick, there's a name for you. Why is there so much negativity after every game? Mate, I'm with you. I'm trying to convince these lot. Umar McMahon, negative Dino again. More negative than Sean, he says also. So let's move on to Sean. What did you think of yesterday's game then?
Well, obviously when it was the team selection 2 o'clock got announced, James Hunt announced the team. It says 2 changes, and I had a feeling he was going to bring Ledbetter in for Dobson. I had that feeling because he said earlier on in the week that Josh Gowan would be competing for Chris Maguire's position, which I thought was a bit strange because Josh Gowan's a central midfielder, Chris Maguire's an attacker midfielder. Obviously, the team selection, raised a few eyebrows, but I mean, you've got to give it him. He's dropped Will Greg, who I don't think got any service, and he brought in Ledbetter. And to be fair, I was a bit shocked, but I mean, look at the game. I mean, I thought Ledbetter was tremendous. Max Power, I even asked the people who was on the table next to us, because I know you think I've got an issue with him, but I says, what do you think of Max Power? How do you think he played? They went, was he playing? I didn't even know if he was playing. But anyway, into the game itself, I think the first half, I think we were the better side. There wasn't much in it. There wasn't much in the first half, to be fair. There wasn't many clear-cut chances, but I thought we just shared it. But I think Phil Parkinson's given them a good run at half-time, because when they come out, they get a spring in the step, and they have the intensity there. And then obviously we got the goal. It was a good run down the left by Denver Hume, which Denver Hume played really well, man. He won some miles that game, crossed the ball over. We got a bit lucky with Ian O'Brien, pulled it back to Power. He tried to shoot, he sliced it. We landed to Maguire, then Maguire passed it 09, and 09, great finish in the bottom corner, tremendous finish. And now Max Power went off and Scowen come on. I thought Scowen done well when he come on. But you've got to look at the positives. I mean, end of the day, Oxford United, you know, they got the playoff final last year, and they were good. They were good size. I mean, you can see what you want to see. Oh, they're not as good as what they were last year. They're still going to be in the top six. So it's a good win. It's a clean sheet. It's 2 goals. You've got let's give the team some credit. Let's not be doom and gloom. Let's give Phil Parkinson some credit. Let's give the lads some credit. Let's not fucking get in the backs all the time. Do you know what I mean? Let's give them some credit for a change. You know, clean sheet, 3 points, happy days.
Right on that, we've got Thomas Garrigan on the live chat. Message for you, Sean, and us at SAFC Fan TV. Should get Jack Shields on every week. If you've not seen Sean's interviews yet, you can have a look at them and make an opinion.
He's a brilliant man, Jack.
Jacob has done some fan reactions as well, which are going to be posted right after we've done this live stream, so you can see his responses as well. Jacob, your view on the game?
Yeah, very good team performance. I said before the game, I think Phil Parkinson wanted his players to go back to basics a little bit in terms of just playing with a lot more freedom and just like being so much more calm and collective on the ball. And I thought we did that very well. I'm not going to lie, when I saw the team line up before the game where he brought in Danny Graham and Grant Ledbetter, I was very sceptical with Josh Scowen on the bench. I think, what more does he need to do to get a start? But I'll give Grant Ledbetter man of the match yesterday. Him in that holding role, protecting the defence, I thought he was absolutely brilliant, particularly like his switch passing as well, finding the forward line. It'll be interesting to see whether he keeps his place. I'm not sure he's the answer in the long run, but credit's where it's due. He had a very good game, and also Luke 09. Honestly, he could run for days. That kid, that moment second half where he did that little shimmy and just beat those 2 Oxford defenders, it was absolutely brilliant to see. Oxford didn't really offer much. I think up against Peterborough next week, I think we're going to have to be a lot more careful, particularly if they're attacking display. I remember I watched the highlights of their game against Fleetwood this morning. They look a decent side, especially that Samodic's lad. He scored a fantastic goal, absolutely rifled a shot into the top corner. But you can only beat what's in front of you. It's still early on in the season. 2 well-taken goals, particularly Luke 09. It came to him quick, but he had to show a lot of calm and composure to put it into the bottom corner. And what a goal from Lyndon Gooch. Honestly, beating about 4 men and then putting it with his left foot, cool as you like, into the far corner. Yeah, just an overall brilliant display. And but it's all about what we do going into the next few games, because we have got some tough games coming up.
Right, okay, fair point. On the live chat again, David Walker says Dino was spot on in his opinion about your view of it. Like we say, it's all about opinions, really, isn't it? What I want to discuss, and somebody's mentioned it, the Mad Mistake touched on it anyway, and somebody's mentioned it in the chat. But before I go on to it, I want to go back to the predictions we did on the Thursday show for today's game against Oxford, and Joe, who was our Oxford fan, who was on, predicted it would be a 1-1 draw. So he's pretty rubbish, really, isn't he? Dino, What was your prediction?
Well, I actually thought we'd get beat 1-0. I
No.
really did. I really
No,
thought we'd get beat
Dino.
1-0.
Dino, you didn't think we'd get beat. So
I
you
did.
said 1-0. I don't know where Michael's gone. Michael,
There he is.
Yeah.
your prediction?
Well, I predicted 1-1, although I did think when I saw the team lineup, I was with
Oh,
Dino. That I did think we'd lose.
Oh, you thought we were going to lose. Right, all right, 1-1. Fair enough.
When I saw the team lineup, when I saw the team, yes. But glad to be wrong.
Fair enough. When you finish playing your football with your bit of paper, what was your score?
1-0.
1-0, at least you got a win down there. That's not bad. Jacob, yours?
I said 2-1, but I thought we'd come from a goal down to do it. But nice to keep a clean sheet.
Yeah, you said 2-1. And again, there was only me who got the 2-0 scoreline correct.
Well done, Philly.
Well, to be honest, I'm lying because I did actually say 2-1. But we had it down as a win anyway. So what I wanted to touch on was, and it's been mentioned on the chat now by Umar Makamafc, who said, who is worried about the goalkeeping situation. Should we give Burge more time? Or, you know, I mean, he had his clanger against Bristol Rovers. Is it going to be a problem? Or are we just, is it just a knee-jerk reaction? Dino?
I've said all along, I like Burge. I mean, even world-class keepers make mistakes. So it's as simple as that. He's a League One keeper, so you've got to expect mistakes. I mean, I don't believe Remy Matthews is much better. I mean, look at his clangers in pre-season. He had a couple. So for me, I'm not worried about the goalkeeping situation. I'm worried about the striking situation. I'm totally worried about the strikers because we're not scoring goals with the strikers, and the strikers don't seem to be getting any shots during the game. So for me, Lee Burge, I think just give him a couple of more games. I think he just needs to build his confidence a little bit back up, get match sharpness back, and then he'll become. I still think he's a good number one.
Right, fair enough. So you're happy with Lee Burge then?
Yeah, I'm happy with Lee Burge.
Jacob?
Yeah, I'm happy with Burge for now. I can understand a bit of the fans' concern about when you noticed a few times when balls came into the box yesterday, he's not as like commanding in terms of like coming out and collecting the ball as much as John McLaughlin used to be, but he still kept a clean sheet. I mean, I just thought that chance they had first half where they put the ball in and the forward just headed it across I thought that was going to head into the far corner, but yeah, a clean sheet's a clean sheet. That will hopefully give him a load of confidence going into the next few games. I wouldn't say he's as good as what was John McLaughlin was last season or John McLaughlin in general, but he is still a solid keeper to have in League One. I'd still stick with him as our number one for the considerable future. So yeah, Lee Burge, it's not ideal in terms of the replacement for McLaughlin, but he is still a decent keeper for that league, and I'll accept him in between the sticks as our number one for now.
Before we go on to Michael, I quickly wanted to go back to the chat here, give everybody a mention. Nigel Dunn, our friend Nigel. It wasn't luck, we made chances and one came off. Uma Makamfc, Parkinson made subs early. Must have been watching SAFC Fan TV. Good point. So, Michael, Lee Burge.
Yeah, I'm happy with Lee Burge. Don't get us wrong, I don't think he is as good as John McLaughlin, but I've said all along that I think if your defence takes enough responsibility in front of him, which I'm trying not to mention this too much, but the reason we got relegated from the Championship wasn't all down to the keepers. It was down to the fact that the team in front of them wasn't taking responsibility and the defenders weren't doing their jobs. So for me, Lee Burge, and even Remy Matthews, people going about Remy Matthews as in, oh, he's come from a team that's been battered every week. Well, yeah, but he also probably had a rubbish defence in front of him. You know, like, let's be real here. Bailey Wright, Jordan, even Tom Flanagan to an extent, or RB Amali, you know, if you had those players in front of him, I don't think it's as much of an issue. Yes, your last line of defence is your keeper, but your defenders are supposed to stop it getting to the keeper. That's their job. So if you get good defence in front of you, it's not as much of a problem. Like I said, like Jacob said, he's not as good as, I think people are saying it's because he's not John McLaughlin. And yeah, he's not. I don't think he's as good as McLaughlin, but do I think he's rubbish? No. I'm pretty happy with Burge at the minute, but obviously, and keeping a clean sheet could do him confidence. We'll wait and see in the games coming up.
Right, again, quickly nip into the live chat. The adopted Mackham says, "Hi guys, finally 3 points," and he says, "We Philly SCFC promoted by start of Easter." That doesn't have the same ring as up by Easter, though, does it? Sean, what do you think of Lee Burge then?
Well, as I said before, I think he's a really good keeper for this division. I think people say keep on going about John McLaughlin, but I mean, there was a time last season when he was playing really bad, and I mean, I thought when Lee Burge come in, he actually played better than McLaughlin. I actually think that Burge is just as good as McLaughlin. I think McLaughlin was a good keeper, but I think some fans got as if he was Johnny Weasley Buffon or somebody the way they're going about him. I mean, he was a decent keeper, then he gets banned. Well, fuck it. Oh, Jesus. He's a decent keeper, but I think Lee Burge is definitely more than capable. But as Michael's just correctly said there, a club of our stature, our size, should not be relying on the goalkeeper. Obviously, if your goalkeeper's the player of the season, then there's something wrong in front of you. And I think this season our defence is pretty sound. Like, I just think, as Dana was saying about the striker situation, my worry is the midfield situation. I think why is Greg and Graham not getting any goals? Because they're not getting any service. We haven't got a good midfielder who can get the ball to the strikers. Do you know what I mean? That's my massive worry is central midfield. If you can get the ball to the strikers, then you'll score goals. There's no creativity in the middle. But like you say, I Lee Burge, I think he's more than capable. I think he'll do well this season. I do 100%.
Right. I'd argue there is creativity in the midfield if Parkinson's been determined not to play him.
Do what, mate?
I was saying I'd argue there is something in midfield that can get the ball to get service to the forwards. It's just that Parkinson for some reason won't start.
Oh, Scowen. No, you're right, Michael. Totally right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, go on.
Couple of things. If you're currently watching the live stream, thanks for tuning in. If you're not a subscriber, please, while you're there, just hit the subscribe button. Totally free of charge. Help us get our subscribers up.
5,000 by the end of the year. Come on.
Back to the live chat.
Yeah, come on.
Sorry, Philly.
Back to the live chat. Want to give a mention to Nation Radio Coventry, who've tuned in. Thanks for tuning in. Says, "Hi all, brilliant result for us yesterday. Terry, fantastic show." And he wants to have an interview with you, mate. So you can get in touch with them and do that. Adopted Mackham says, "We Philly, is Mad Mistake going to be the new Sunderland manager?" And also Uma Mackham FC says, "All the compliments are flying in for you, Mad Mistake. Mad Mistake should be a pundit on Sky Sports. You heard it here first, and we all agree with that." And here he is to give his view on Lee Burge.
I did say the situation is the weakest link in our squad, but is there anything stopping Lee Burge from becoming as good as John McLaughlin? It's only himself. It's only himself stopping himself from becoming as good as John McLaughlin. There's no reason why he can't become as good as John McLaughlin. Sort out the indecisiveness, commit to something. You're going to get it more times than enough. You'll do the right thing. Commit to something. Don't dilly-dally in between no man's land. Either go for it or don't go for it. Penalties, practice saving penalties a bit more for me, because like the penalty situation and the indecisiveness is the two things that are stopping Lee Burge from becoming as good as John McLaughlin, or if not better. Because I thought yesterday he took every single cross that he committed to taking, and he saves the shots really well. He gets down pretty well to the shots. Nothing sort of troubled him yesterday. I know Oxford didn't give him too much trouble in the first place, but for me, it just looks awful when he's indecisive of what to do, come forward and go backwards. If he sorts that out, for me, there's no reason why he can't be as good as John McLaughlin. There's only himself stopping him.
Right, so hopefully he's watching that and he'll take your advice there. So quickly again on the chat, back to Nation Radio Commentary again, getting another mention. We Philly, are you still working at the Wheat Sheaf? Unfortunately, at the moment, no. I'm reduced to delivering parcels. I'm pressing doorbells instead of pressing play. But hopefully, We will be back there as soon as this pandemic sorts itself out. GS2000 on the chat says, any chance of offloading Will Grigg, or are we stuck with him? Well, why? Will Grigg's been okay pre-season and all right, you know, last week at Bristol Rovers. I think he's, you know, he's got to be given a chance. I think there's still a good chance that he could be top scorer for us this season. But again, I'm full of positivity, aren't I? Anyway, David Hamby, would you play Gooch from the start or off the bench? So, cracking goal yesterday, beats 1 man, 2 man, 3 man, 4 man, like he always does. And I'm shouting at the telly saying, here we go, you've gone 1 too far. He always has to go 1 man too many. And lo and behold, he sticks it in the net. And I nearly fell off my chair. Great goal from Gooch. Is he better off the bench or should we start him? Sean, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, it's a good point that you asked the question, to be fair. I was going to bring this up myself. I think Gooch, he's actually better coming off the bench because I wouldn't say he's light and fast, but he has got that energy. And see that the last 15, 20 minutes, if we need an impact sub or we're down the goal or something like that to bring him on. I mean, now we're 1-0 up yesterday, he come on, he scored the goal. It was a great goal, by the way, good finish. But I think Gooch is more settled as coming on as an impact player. I don't think he, in the start 11, I'm not sure if he imposes on the game enough. I think that's definitely as a sub, and I probably don't like that, but I think if he comes on as a sub, that's when he's best. He's coming on that 15, 20 minutes. I think that's when he's more likely to impact on the game when the other team's tired, and there's more space created. And that, like you say, hence yesterday, he took his goal really well. So I think that's just my personal opinion, but I think he's better coming off the bench. Michael?
Probably at the moment, yeah, because when you're tiring in a game, the thing you want to play against or want to come up against the least is pace, and Gooch has got pace. I've said his game intelligence needs to be better. I think that he needs to know when to release. And I was like you, Phil, actually, when before the goal went in, I was just thinking, right, pass. But then obviously he scores, so fair play. But yeah, I think that Gooch probably at the minute, I agree with Sean. I think Gooch is probably better at the moment coming off the bench. As long as Parkinson in future games, and I still think he needs to improve on this regardless of yesterday. He actually made all 3 subs before the 78th minute, which is unlike him. So I was questioning if he was feeling okay. Yeah. But going forward, if it's not going well, like say it's not going well against Peterborough, as long as Parkinson doesn't wait until it's too late for Gooch to impact the game, then fair enough. I don't see any reason why. I think Gooch at the minute would be better coming off the bench as long as he's given a good amount of time to impact the game if things aren't going our way.
Right on the live chat, Dan Trend Videos runs Gooch man of the match, a solid 8 out of 10. The rest 6 and 7s. Where's the one? Gilesy. All right, lads, love the content. Thanks, Gilesy. Jacob, where did you get your T-shirt from? It's not a T-shirt, mate. That's the 1992 Wembley away strip. One of the best away strips we've ever had. So he wants to know where you got that. You can answer that in a sec when I come to you. Nigel Dunn, Jacob, not being nasty, but we want to thrash them. Put that memory behind us. I'm assuming he's on about Peterborough then next week. So coming on to you then, Jacob.
Well, first of all, this top used to be my dad's. He grew out of it, so he passed it on to his prodigal son. So it runs in the family, something to like that. And also, before I get into the brilliant performance by the Californian King yesterday, shout out to Matthew Lead on the chat. SAFC Fan TV, 1 million subscribers by Easter. So fingers crossed, guys.
Yeah, that's something.
Yeah, I can understand what Sean's saying. Like, bringing him off the bench is a better game plan right now because opposition do get tired very quickly towards the latter stages of games in this league, and him and just injecting pace into the side is just what you need going into those final few minutes of a game. And also his physicality as well. I don't know if you know, when we were holding on to the lead yesterday, down by the corner flags, just out muscling all those Oxford players. But if his decent form continues, Phil Parkinson, he's in a dilemma, I must say, because if he keeps putting in performances like that, it might get to a stage where he'll have to start in games, surely. I mean, Gooch is a funny one, but he's just so, particularly last season, just so inconsistent. But in the games where we needed him most against sides in and around us in the table, he just went missing in games, and we need to see more consistency from Lyndon this season. But I have every faith he'll like change and manage to do that. But yeah, fantastic performance and just some goal yesterday. Absolutely fantastic strike.
Right, on the live chat, I just want to highlight this because Ryan Cockton says, Dino, most negative fan, which is because it's all about opinions is what it is. And if we all agreed on everything, Dino very much keeps his feet on the ground and sees it that way. You know, I'm too far the other way because I can't see anything wrong. And it would be a pretty boring channel if we all agreed. So I think we've got a good mix of people. We all speak our minds, and we're all not afraid to give our opinions. So I think that's a little bit unfair there, saying that. I'll come to that one in a bit. We'll go to the mad mistake. One about it's Lyndon Gooch. One about, aren't we?
Yeah, I completely agree. Everybody else off the bench, 100% off the bench. He's great and effective against a tiring defence. And like I said before, no players like a player running with you at full pace with the ball at your feet, especially when you're getting tired. And they're frightened. They're frightened to give a challenge in because they know they might get sent off because he's a little wizard at moments when other defences are getting tired. So definitely 100% off the bench. Later on, I want to talk about Danny Graham and Will Grigg if we get an opportunity. So that's my opinion on Gooch. There you go.
Right, fair dues. Dino.
Well, I'm going to be Mr. Negative again. I disagree with all yous. I really do. I think one person who needs to come out the side, I believe, is Aidan O'Brien. I haven't really been impressed with him the last two games. I think he could do with coming out. Even you said last week, Philly, that he looked off the pace. I mean, Gooch has come on and scored a goal. So, and Aidan O'Brien, he's missed a couple of sitters, really. He had one yesterday. I know it ballooned off his foot, but he did try and open he tried to open his foot out, but it obviously came at him too fast. But he's had the chances and he hasn't really put them away. And Gooch has come on and took a chance and scored. So, I mean, I think it might be time for Aidan O'Brien to take a back seat, maybe get Gooch back in. And if Gooch scores next week, it'll look like a good change. I haven't seen much of Aidan O'Brien. I'm not really convinced at the minute. I mean, he's done a couple of nice little tricks now and again, but he's missed a lot of chances. So,
do you not think it's a bit early days though? Because I mean, he took his goal well against pre-season, was it?
Aston Villa under 21s?
Yeah, Aston Villa under 21s.
Yeah, how man, half the team scored against them, man.
But it doesn't matter. The thing is he took it well, turned, hit it, took it well. Still got to do it. It's got to hit the target.
When it matters, in the games where it matters, he doesn't take his chances. And I just haven't been convinced. I really haven't. He's had nice moments, but I'm not convinced by him at the minute. I mean, he's supposed to be this skillful. I don't know if he's a winger, striker, or wherever he's playing, but I think just Gooch. There's something about Gooch. I think this could be Gooch's season. I really think it could be Gooch's season this season.
Fair comment. I think Aidan O'Brien should be made captain. Right. Mad mistake. You wanted to discuss our strikers, yeah?
Yeah, I'm completely in agreement with Sean and Gilesy to do with Will Grigg. He gets absolutely no service, and I thought it was a bit harsh for him to be dropped and Danny Graham to come in. I didn't really see what Danny Graham did yesterday, to be fair. I thought he was a bit of a passenger at times. So I prefer Will Grigg up front and try and supply the bloke some bloody ammunition, man, for God's sake. Get somebody in that midfield who can give that ball to Will Grigg in the centre of the penalty area to run onto. It's absolutely, that's the worst part of our game at this moment in time. It's not supplying the forward line. Shocking. Once we take away the hoof of football, pass the ball on the ground, give Will Grigg the flaming ball to run at. Let him peel away from the defenders, man. It's awful football. Like I say, I don't think Danny Graham isn't, for me, shouldn't be ahead of Will Grigg.
Well,
I'll be interested to use the cup matches to go 4-4-2 and have Greg
Oh,
and
I love 4-4-2.
Greg and Greg.
Oh,
Right,
go
a cup
4-4-2.
match, right? What's wrong with the cup match?
4-4-2.
Will Graham up front, left hand side, Hume or left hand side, Hume, Dan Neil, right hand side. We could have McLaughlin, and then I thought on the right hand side, I'm not sure about the right hand side, maybe it's McGuire, McLaughlin, and then the centre of the park, you could bring Luke Owen 9, give him a position in the centre of the park, see if he can do a better service to Will Grigg or a better service to Danny Graham. And with Dan Neil on the left hand side, you could cut in and maybe supply them as well. It's for me, there's a few. We've got to try some different things in these cup matches. We've got to find a way to supply these forwards because it's not working in the league matches. We can't always rely on the midfielders to score the goals. The forwards are there to score the goals. They're the ones we have to give the ball to in the good positions.
Well, not only do I love Michael Bowers, I also love the mad mistake. Anybody who champions the whole 4-4-2 is all right by me. I totally 100% agree with him about Will Grigg, especially since I put money on him to be the league's top scorer. Couldn't agree more. Sean, was you trying to get in there while he was chatting, or were you just having a fidget?
Oh, I was just going to do a shout out for he's obviously a Sunderland YouTuber. Jazzy, he's a really good lad, nice lad, and obviously at half time yesterday I linked into his live stream because obviously I linked into Mammoth Steaks, Jamsoni's, and Jazzy. He's a good lad.
Was Jalzy the best then?
Do you know what Jazzy? He's the most underrated YouTuber. He's really, really good. And Terry, my mistake, and Jamsoni, he's obviously experienced and been doing it for years. But obviously Jazzy is really, really good, underrated YouTuber. So subscribe to his channel. He's a great lad and he's got great content.
Mad mistake?
I second that. I'm friends with Giles myself. I've met him a few times at the match. He's a fantastic lad, fantastic bloke. He's a really lovely human being, full stop. So subscribe to his channel, full stop. Yes.
Lovely lad.
Yeah, well, we'll check that out. And everybody else, if you go to Giles's YouTube channel, check it out. Subscribe, help him out there. If you do that, another Sunderland YouTuber, we've got to try and help everybody out.
But most of all, subscribe to our channel.
Absolutely. Before you do anybody else's, just do it now.
5,000 by the end of the year.
Right. Dino, the striking situation then?
Oh, don't get started on the strikers.
Here we go.
I mean, Danny Graham yesterday, he wasn't in the box. Like every time I seen him, he was on the left, he was on the right, he was down in centre mid. I mean, like, I know you need to get him service, but if he's not up there, because he's not going to have the pace to get from centre mid into the box with our wing backs, how quick they can be, like Hume. I just don't like this big man up front. I've never liked it. Our strikers have been players like Defoe, someone who's quick, someone who can finish. We've got a player in Will Grigg who can finish, but he's not blessed with massive pace. He's not blessed to dribble past players. We need a striker who can dribble past somebody, actually get a ball on the half turn, run at a defender and get a shot away. We don't have that. Our strikers have to literally be in the right place at the right time. And our strikers are never in the right place at the right time. They're always in the wrong place. Wyke hides behind defenders. Danny Graham can't even get in the box. And Will Grigg's running on the left and right hand side and not being in the middle. We've got a massive problem. I feel like the striker is the way we've got, like, I wouldn't even say we've got the top 6 strikers in the league. Like, I really don't. I really don't.
And Philly, everyone's entitled to their opinion.
They know statistics have proved you wrong, mate, because obviously Will Grigg scored 20 plus goals in this division for 2 years.
But guess what? Going by statistics, how many goals has he scored for Sunderland?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, the first 2 games, can you honestly see the strikers have had any chances? I mean, a good striker can get a goal out of nothing like Madge used to. That's fair enough. But I mean, did Graham get a chance yesterday? Did Grigg get a chance in the first game? They didn't even get any balls to them in the box. So that's what I'm saying. You're saying the strikers haven't got. You're worried about the strikers that they don't score goals. Grigg's proven in this league if you can get play to his style, and obviously Danny Graham done really good in the championship, which is a level above where we are now.
But let's be fair. We bought Will Grigg on his statistics, and I don't even he's passed 9 goals yet in 2 seasons.
Well,
I don't know if I'm correct on that.
He's got to touch something of the blame. Dane, of course he has. He's you know, mate, in the day he gets paid to score goals. But even I think, can you honestly see it? We've got. Have they been getting the service? The first two, that's only premature. First two games.
Not yet. Not the first two games. But last season, he had chances. He had plenty of chances, but he couldn't take them. He was either going wide. He was. I mean, how he missed from the penalty spot, 12 yards out.
Let's leave it there. And what we'll do is we'll look at the statistics at the end of this season. Is what we'll do, and then if he's been rubbish, we'll say he's rubbish. However, when he finishes top scorer in the league, I'll buy you all a pint with me winnings. Mad Mistake, you was trying to get yourself in there in between Dino and Sean.
Yeah, first of all, we feel you got no chance with that bet, because why would any striker want to come to Sunderland to play under Phil Parkinson? Phil Parkinson doesn't play to any striker's strengths at all. I think that Greg and Danny Graham are under orders to go left wing, to go right wing, to chase the ball all over the place, but not be in the box. Phil Parkinson doesn't play to the strengths of strikers. Nobody wants to come to Sunderland and play under Phil Parkinson. Any striker who comes to Sunderland and plays under Phil Parkinson, it's going to ruin your career.
Yes, but you're not giving me credit, Mad Mistake, for my bet. I put the bet on because I thought, will Greg leave and play for another team and then become top scorer in the league? You see?
I think the Man Mistake's got a big issue with Phil Parkinson, I believe. But tell you what you got to understand is, I'm on the fence, but Phil Parkinson, he's got experience getting up this league, mate, and that's what I'm clinging on to. I think. I mean, you see this happening.
Here we go.
Do you know what I mean? It's facts is facts, mate. He's getting things more out of this league.
Any issue at all with Phil Parkinson? What I'm doing is I'm picking out the faults, the mistakes he's making, because he's not playing to Greg's strengths. I'm the first person to say I want Phil Parkinson to succeed 100%. He has my full 100% backing. Everybody in the Sunderland shirt has my full 100% backing. But it's clear as day. He's not giving Will Grigg any service. You said it yourself. What's the point of playing Will Grigg and giving him no service? That's down to Phil Parkinson. And Phil Parkinson instructing him to run the wing, to run down the line. It's pathetic.
I agree. He should be picking Scowen. I think Matt said, well, everybody knows that Scowen, why is he not playing Scowen? And he's the one, he's a box-to-box midfielder. He could be the missing piece that we need to get the ball to Will Griggs and your Danny Grahams. So on that note, I'll agree with Terry. He should be playing Scowen. And when he named this team yesterday, I was like, thinking he's not helping himself here. But it's his job as the manager, right? It's his job as the manager. He's got to get that supply to the strikers. And we do seem a little bit negative, but I think that the front three, like Ian O'Brien and Maguire, I don't think they link up very well with the strikers either. There's something not right with them too.
But remember, most teams in this league will have a good striker who scores a few goals. We're going to suffer at some point in this season because our strikers are not scoring the goals. We can't rely on midfield all the time, or even defenders.
Quickly, Dino.
So in the next two games, right? Say none of our strikers. Say we do win the next two games, but the strikers haven't scored. Will you be worried in the first four? Will it be 4 games where strikers haven't scored goals?
Well, 100%.
Yeah, but I don't think we'll be in that position. I think we'll get a hat trick next week. Charlie White will get a hat trick the week after. Danny Graham will get a hat trick the week after that. Right, we're coming on to Jacob. Jacob, the strikers, what do you think?
I can understand everyone's concern. It's worrying when your strikers are not finding the net right now. It could be a confidence issue, or it could be the fact that they lack in quality or potentially even fitness right now. But as the season goes on, obviously we're enjoying the creativity coming in behind at the moment and the pace that Maguire and also Gooch and the goals they can chip in. But you do need, if you want to get promoted out of a tough, like physical league like this, where you do need your strikers to be on form over the course of the season, particularly towards the latter stages, you do need your strikers to perform. But it'll be interesting. I don't know whether we may bring in some more signings before the end of the winter. I think it could all depend on the salary cap that's in place at the moment. But yeah, I think as long as we're getting the results, I'm happy for now. But I do understand everyone's concern as the season goes on. It's an issue that we may need to address, but it's still early stages in the season.
Dino, is there something wrong with your finger?
Yeah, I want to talk. I'm still seeing the problems from last season. There's only one way for Sunderland to play, down the left and down the right. There's nothing going through the centre. If you stop the left wing and the left wing back and the right wing and the right wing back from pressing on, you've literally stopped our attack. We've got nothing else because the hoofball doesn't work. So when we score goals, we're either getting the ball in the box or we're coming across to go into the box, and that's how Gooch has scored, and that's the way we scored the first goal. It came from the left over to the right, and O'Nien tucked it in. But if you nullify them two threats, we've got nothing else. So a good team will say, stop the left-hand side, stop the right-hand side. They've got nothing else, and then we'll start struggling.
Right. Before we go to Michael, on the live chat, we've got to give a shout out to Thane SAFC, who says, all right, lads, he's a regular viewer to our channel. And once again, he's another Sunderland YouTuber. Make sure you go along to his YouTube channel, subscribe and help him out as well. Do that. I just want to say, mad mistake, you're so small on your screen, you look like a bowler. And,
my light's gone off.
Yes. Jacob, you look better with your light off. And
I look like a ghost before.
And Michael, the striking situation then.
Oh, that was good. That was a good debate to listen to. I actually enjoyed that. Right, strikers. Well, first of all, in response to Dino's question, when he asked about if you stop both flanks, both the wings, then they've got absolutely nothing. Right. What do we then do to combat that? What do we then do to, because we can't just stand around and go, oh, we've got nothing else, so we're screwed. No, we've got that's down to the management and down to the players to try something different, to have more than one element of their game. For the strikers, though, like I've said, Will Grigg hasn't done. Yeah, I think Will Grigg hasn't taken responsibility over the 2 years he's been here, and I do believe that there should be enough in him to actually get the goals here. There's a reason that I'm prepared to bet you that if most clubs in this league said, right, if we said to most clubs in this league, would you have Will Grigg in your team? 9 teams out of 10 in this league would say yes. Without question. So there's clearly something wrong we're doing there in terms of getting the service to Will Grigg. I actually don't think, the one thing I would criticise Parkinson for yesterday was dropping Grigg, because I think that's not going to do his confidence any good. He needs to get a run of games to start actually getting the goals in. And I refuse to believe there isn't anything there.
Exactly.
Against Hull, again, against a team that will be up, I'm pretty confident will be up there this season. We played through Grigg and O'Brien a lot, and they linked up exceptionally well. I think that's a link-up that is going to be crucial if we're going to get any of them scoring goals. Parkinson deserves a lot of stick if Parkinson starts Wyke, for example, over the others, and I'm going to try not to slate Wyke too much, but if he starts Wyke over the others, then he's not helping himself here. For the strikers, yes, look, if you want to get service into them, then Scowen should be playing. Scowen, not just coming off the bench, starting. Scowen should be actually coming on. I mean, when you're saying Scowen's competition with Chris Maguire, well, I'm pretty sure Chris Maguire is either in the number 10 role or on one of the wide positions. Now, if Scowen's in the number 10 role, then fair enough. He could potentially work that way if he's box to box. I just don't understand how, Wyke I've written off completely. I think he might get 4 or 5 goals a season if you're lucky. O'Brien has played more than 80 appearances in the last 3 seasons in the Championship. He should be having something about him, although I do agree with Dino that against Oxford in particular, that chance when the ball came to his foot and it was a first-time effort, he should have scored that. I can't defend that. He should have scored it. I thought he was one of our better players against Bristol Rovers. But again, Bristol Rovers, Grigg had absolutely nothing. Yeah, the stats said we had 25 shots, even though it didn't feel like it against Bristol Rovers. But how many chances did Grigg get against Bristol Rovers? How many opportunities did he actually get? I'm struggling to remember any. So there's clearly a massive issue in link-up between midfield and attack. That is why, again, Scowen should be starting, because I think that is actually something that could really help us in the future.
But we have said in the past on previous Sunday bunches that surely the thing to do would be get Sean's favourite player, Max Power, to link up with Will Grigg like they did at Wigan, because at Wigan they were just
that.
Have I said something wrong, Dino?
Yeah, I'm sick. We've been going off this for the last 2 years.
We have
link up, and they've never linked up because Max Power doesn't make a forward pass, and he's a passenger. He just goes sideways.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, let's stop going up. They'll do what they've done at Wigan. They haven't. Grigg hasn't even done anything what he's done at Wigan for us so far. So what makes you think both of them are going to do it?
Exactly. Daniel's right there, like Power. I mean, he's had 1 season at Wigan where they got promoted. No, they got promoted, and he had a good season. But people say I've got issues with Power, but I asked the couple on the table next to us yesterday in the pub, and then says, was he even playing, Sean? I was like, exactly, that's my point. It doesn't do anything, doesn't bring anything to the team.
Listen.
Scowen has got to start.
Listen,
If Partners doesn't persist in bringing Scowen in, then he's got major issues.
Something wrong with Michael's finger as well now.
Listen, I'm only prodding you both. That's all I'm doing. Right, we're going to go to Michael, then we'll go to the mad mistake. Go on.
Right, I'm going to join Phil in prodding these two, actually, because yes, I do. We can say we're going on about it for 2 years, but again, well, they found something at Wigan that we're not doing here. So to me, that's not down to the players. That's down to the management and coaching system doing something wrong. Why are we not seeing? And yes, I actually agree. I do I do still believe Power gets criticised a bit more than he probably deserves. But he does also do sideways, backwards passing. But I'm convinced that's something to do with the tactics and the management system. I do not believe for one minute. I do not believe for 1 minute that is Power consciously staying back and actually not doing anything. I actually believe it's something to do with the management. And if it is Power, then fair enough. He needs to take responsibility for that, and he needs to get that out of his game. Because we've seen he can do that when he goes forward. But why is he not getting encouraged? Why is he not getting encouraged to go forward more? Why is he? Why?
Michael, have a drink.
So you're telling me Parkinson? You're telling me Parkinson?
Mad mistake. Wanting to get in. Hang on.
Yeah, no worries.
100% spot on, Michael Bowers. Max Power is under orders. He's under.
Do that if you want, Dean. But come on,
Dean. Phil Parkinson is the big cheese, the boss. He tells his players what he wants. If the players won't do what he wants, they won't be in the side. This is the reason why Power starts every single match. He's under instructions to do exactly what he's doing on the pitch from Phil Parkinson. The same reason why Will Grigg never gets the stiff because he's under instructions to go and run down the corner flag.
I can't disagree with that. Come on.
Man in charge. He's a man in charge. You cannot blame Max Power. It's instructions from Phil Parkinson, 100%. Another manager at Wigan had Max Power doing something different, and that's why he could supply Will Grigg. Nothing to do with Max Power, all to do with Phil Parkinson, all to do with Phil.
It's not just Phil Parkinson, it's Jack Ross as well. Jack Ross was guilty of this.
Jack Ross was the same. Jack Ross was exactly the same in his tactics.
A good player, though. A good player always comes through in the end. You know what I mean? So
you're telling me the
one at a time. One at a time.
You're telling me the tactic from Phil Parkinson's to tell Power to not make a forward pass. I mean, you centre midfield should be making forward passes. Like, what tactic is it, right? Just go backwards and sideways, and then let's just hope we get down the wings. I mean, there's got to be more to a tactic than that, surely. I mean, Power on occasions,
you're telling me Power's constantly choosing to do that. You're
telling me.
One at a time. Stop. Right, one at a time, because you're all talking over each other. Just one at a time. All right. So, mad mistake, and then we'll come to you, Michael.
Two things. First thing, Sean cannot defend Will Grigg, but then slate Max Power off because they're both under instructions for Parkinson. So you can't say Parkinson's right here, then wrong there. Secondly, Dean. Max Power was in the box yesterday. Max Power was in the box because his poorest shot went to Maguire. Maguire went to Luke O'Neill, who scored the goal. So he does go forward. He had a shot last week against Bristol Rovers. He does go forward. I've seen him go forward on numerous occasions, linking up well with Denver Hume. But his job and that team is to captain the side and is to be in midfield and it's to hold for me in midfield and only go forward when the time's needed. But he's under instructions from his boss, Phil Parkinson. If he doesn't do as he's told, Scowen will be in the side and Power will be dropped. Power is the captain for a reason because he's doing exactly what Phil Parkinson wants. Otherwise, he wouldn't be the captain.
Right, Michael, quickly, and then we can move on. Go on.
Yeah, look, don't get me wrong. I've said in the past that I think that if it was a choice between, say, Power and Scowen, I'd pick Scowen any day of the week. So I'm not going to make out that Power's the greatest thing in the world. I just think Power gets over-criticised a lot when a lot of our midfielders, like Dobson, does pretty much what Power does, I think. And you can say Dobson puts the effort in. Well, I think Power does as well. But Dobson doesn't get anywhere near the level of scrutiny that Power does. And I think as much as I would probably drop Power, he's going to be dropped anyway. He's probably injured. So, but I think it's unfair to over-criticise Power, but then give Dobson more of a leash to stand on. That's not even a phrase, but you get what I mean.
Michael, I agree. I think Dobson's rubbish as well. I think Power's rubbish. The two of them are absolutely rubbish. So I agree with you. They're both rubbish.
Right,
Comment.
let me get in. And that is a prime example why this channel is absolutely brilliant. That everybody has different opinions, and we do that, and we don't agree. We're all best of friends. We don't always agree, and it's just that's what makes the channel what it is. So well done, lads, for that. What I want to do, I want to go around Joel and get your man of the match from yesterday, but we're going to start it off with Jacob, because what Jacob doesn't know yet, I am going to speak to you about a new feature I want you to do on the channel, and it's going to include it's not going to be called your man of the match, because your man of the match is going to be called Jacob's Cracker, right? So who was your cracker yesterday?
Oh my God. Oh
God,
dear.
Jacob.
Oh, the jokes on this channel, honestly, absolutely that is ridiculous.
Hang on, wait before you start. If you're slating my jokes, right, you want to watch Terry's pizza video, man. Now
I haven't seen it yet.
you need to watch that, and then you can slate his jokes. Right.
Okay, man of the
Jacob's
match.
Cracker. No, Jacob, not man of the match. Jacob's Cracker.
Okay, Jacob's cracker this
That's
week.
the way.
I'm gonna give it to Grant Ledbetter. Controlled the midfield very well, made some brilliant switch passes at times, communicated with the rest of his players very well, used his experience to great effect. So yeah, Grant Ledbetter controlled the middle of the park superbly. So I'm going to give the Jacob's Cracker Award this week to Grant Ledbetter.
Good man. Good man.
Oh,
Michael Bowers.
Can we not just call it Jacob's Cracker of the Week? Just call it that.
Because
That
then
sounds
it doesn't work.
Okay, I agree with Jacob Philly. I think Grant Ledbetter. I think fans were rightly sceptical because Ledbetter. I still believe Ledbetter shouldn't be starting every game because I don't think his body can cope with the demanding season that this is going to be because of the pandemic that's gone on. But Ledbetter controlled the game really well from midfield, tackled really good, positional play absolutely spot on. Really got things going in midfield, kept things ticking over, made sure that we didn't concede yesterday along with the defenders. Don't think you should play every week, but Grant Ledbetter, fair play to you, guy. Hopefully you keep doing that and proving us wrong if you start.
And I've got to say, what odds would you have gotten from any of us, right? If we said we'd have been here on Sunday saying Grant Ledbetter was the man of the match. And Sean, what do you think? Your man of the match?
Jacob's Cracker. Yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah, basically, I thought Denver Hume gets a lot of flack. I thought Denver Hume played really well. He ran his socks off. He set the first goal up. I thought he played really. He was a great engine. I thought Luke O'Neill was brilliant. He was a constant threat. He gives 100%. He scored a great goal. He done that skill in the second half, what Jacob mentioned. It was brilliant, and he played really well. But a guy who he lost his mother last year, and he's getting a lot of stick off the Sun supporters, which I think's it's
including us. To be fair,
yeah. Well, not me.
I
do see sometimes he are behind the pace, but I think if you can put the ball to his feet, he is a good passer of the game. Well, my obviously worry is obviously like this Mike has just said, it's can he play every game at his age? I'm not sure, but absolutely yesterday he was brilliant. He passed the ball well. He commanded the midfield. He actually made a couple of good tackles as well. So Grant Ledbetter was my man of the match.
So, like I say, you mentioned his age. So moving on to the old man of the team, mistake.
Right, then, I'm going to say the two weakest links before we get started was Danny Graham and Aidan O'Brien, because I thought they were very poor yesterday. But I agree with Sean with Denver Hume and 09. I thought they were doing an absolutely fantastic job. If you said last week that Grant Ledbetter was going to be man of the match, I'd give you 100 to 1 because he wasn't my man of the match, I'm afraid. He did a good job. He was all right. But I just didn't see what you've seen. So I just see. I maybe had too many cans. I just didn't see what you've seen.
I don't even drink, right?
None of the players that stream for the. It was a poor stream compared. Sunderland's live stream's 100% better than Billy Oxford's live stream. It is much better. You can see the players better. It's much closer. Anyway, I digressed. Ledbetter did a good job. Yes, I'm pleased for the lad. He's a champion lad. He should be a coaching role at some point at Sunderland and just like have a great career in the coaching side. He can't play every weekend. He shouldn't play against Peterborough next weekend. I think it's probably a game too soon. I do think maybe once every couple of weeks he should have a game if he's still playing well. But I'm sure we'd be playing because Powell's injured. I thought Willis had a much better game. It was loads better. Once he did the one hoofed football, one pass it up in the air after the first 2 minutes, which he tends to do early on. Once he'd done that, he played some really good defensive football and passed the ball, made some good moves forward. I'm going to give it a Luko 9 for the goal and for like the play he did down the right-hand side. I thought he was a great asset the whole match. I give it a Luko 9. That's my man of the match.
Oh,
Good
sweet.
man.
Alright.
Dino, man of the match.
Well, I was the same when I seen Grant Ledbetter picked in. I did see on Thursday, I had a feeling that he put Ledbetter in and not Scowen. And when I seen it, every time Ledbetter, like the first half, Ledbetter made a couple of bad passes. And I was going to see another mistake. He can't pass the ball. But then all of a sudden, he was getting tackles in. I was counting all of his mistakes at first. And then I was going, good tackle, good pass, well played. And I started going, Ledbetter's actually having a good game here. He outshone Power 100%, I think. But my man of the match goes to Luko 9 because every game he's 100%. You can tell he's been working on his dribbling because last season you wouldn't have seen Luko 9 dribble past two players. He would have just looked to pass it. He's got a good link up with Chris Maguire, I think. Them two link up really well. And like you say, he's playing out of position as well. And he's keeping is he Irish and Irish international out of the team. So for me, Luko 9, for his goal, for his effort, and just for his all-round play, he played brilliant yesterday.
Right. Thanks for that. I just want to say I agree with Terry, not necessarily for his man of the match, but difficult to see the players on that stream, especially, I mean, I struggled in the first half. I couldn't make out anybody, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then second half, and I couldn't tell you who the man of the match was because I don't know who was who. My eyes are rubbish, and yeah, so I agree with that. Right, we're out of time, unfortunately. I did want to, if we haven't got to you on the live chat, I'm really sorry. We tried to get as many people in as we could. Mad mistake?
One shout out for Chris Maguire FP of Instagram. There you go. You've had a shout out.
Fantastic. I did want to get to a point that John Marriott's made on the chat. But somebody started arguing about max power and all that and what have you. So, and the point he made is John Marriott put, gentlemen, do you think we'll play a full season? You can imagine a lot of teams will struggle financially. And do you think the FA will have a plan? It was a good question. And to be honest, when you think about it, it's, some teams could go bust. Unfortunately, we haven't got time to sort of get onto it this week, but if we can try and address that next week, it's certainly a good topic to mull over. So once again, thanks for tuning in. It's been great to be back on the Sunday Bunch. I want to say a big thank you to Dino, to the Mad Mistake, to Jacob Kirkbride, Michael Bowers, Sean Middleton, and again, thank you from me, Wee Philly. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please do so. It's absolutely free. We're on a mission to... Sean, what's our mission?
Our mission is to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of this year. And it's definitely more than possible, but we couldn't do it without your support. Spread the word, like, keep subscribing. Honestly, we couldn't speak more highly of you. We love you all. Yeah. Spread the word. Let's reach our goal. 5K by the end of the year. Come on, we can do it.
Legends, every one of you.
Hang on, Mad Mistake, quickly.
And don't forget, if you haven't already, go and watch Sean's interviews. Legendary interviewer.
Right, and what we haven't told you is if we get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, Sean Middleton is going to kiss each and every one of you on the bottom. So there you go. That's something to.
Where's the leave me? Where's the leave button now? Right.
I've got a lovely spot for him. I've got a lovely spot for him.
Right. So
big shout out to also to AC Cameron Jude, and Saturday was a bit of a bad day. But just remember, we've all got your backs, and it's unfortunate what happened. I'm not going to go into detail, but AC Cameron Jude, love you to bits. Also, Joanne Punchin, great friend of mine on Twitter, love you to bits, and also Kev Muse as well. Thanks for that.
Fantastic. Right, and to every one of our subscribers, everybody who's watched the the channel. Thank you very much for that. We will be back again next Sunday. I think we're back on Thursday as well, are we?
Yeah, why
I
not?
don't know.
Or-
This is the plan and what goes into this channel. We may see you Thursday. We'll definitely see you next Sunday for another Sunday bunch. So a big thank you to and we'll see. Oh, mad mistakes had enough
my
already.
mistake's gone already. Right,
Yeah,
okay, then.
yeah. So we'll see you next week. Thank you very much. See you. Bye bye.
Stay safe. Also.
Good show, guys.
Oh.
Good show. Good show.
There you go.